Hey guys, welcome back to RC Cars UK. Paddy with you here again. You'll notice we've got in front of us an RC4 drive Gelande 2. It's a G2, so it's supposed to be like the D91. So this is about a 280mm wheelbase. This was bought fairly cheap actually. Now it does have a few issues with it. As you'll notice, it's not complete, but it's not too far off. So first issue with this is it did not come with a spur gear setup for here. Yeah, the pin's still there for the gearbox, but nothing else. Now I had this spur gearbox here, which is a cheap generic Chinese alloy one. So I have a slipper clutch assembly unit here with spur gear built in, and here is the backing piece that goes onto here. Now however, you'll notice I've had to modify this somewhat, so I had to enlarge that hole there and make it a semicircle, so the pin basically sits inside that and it pushes on, and you'll notice how much of a good fit it is actually. So we'll go and put this on so you can see. I'll get this in the light a bit better so you can see. That's a bit better. There you go. And if we move this, so you can see how much of a good fit it is there. And then this is going to go over the top. Now this is going to change it from what originally was because there's 32 pitch hardened gears in here and in the transfer case, and now we're going to make the final drive, so the front of the drive if you will, 64 pitch, as you can tell there. Yeah, we're going to take this 550 can off, just make it to a little 60 or 80 amp PSC, and we're going to pop that on there, so it should give it a nice bit of weight up front. There we go. Look at that. Perfectly. It's almost like the Chinese copied it. There we go. Right, so now what we need to do, you see, is get our let's get our spring unit on and washer. Obviously, because it is a slipper assembly. I mean, you could lock it if you wanted to, but I've never been that bothered. Oh, this is the other side. Sorry, my bad. So you get your spring, and then you'll notice you've got this little centralized locating washer here with a little collet. I believe that's to try and keep your spring as central as possible, so it doesn't skew off to one side and make your spur gear a little wobbly. And now we just need an M4 nut. Right, so here you can see that we've put the alloy spur gear on, this heavy duty steel spur gear, should I say, steel alloy mix, and we've tightened up our little spring unit here after we've put our little collet washer on. So yeah, there we go, we have drive now. Right dudes, we've moved inside because it's starting to rain. I think summer's ending and the autumn is definitely coming in. So basically, as you saw in the last clip, the end of the last clip, we've mated the Chinese spare sort of arrangement, the slipper arrangement here, with the original sort of RC4WD drive gearbox there. So next what we're going to do is we're going to change out these shocks. Now these are GDS shocks, as you can see. I could tell they were GDS from just looking at them, but these are GDS shocks. I think they're about 100mm. These will be going and they'll be replaced with a set of these internal spring shock Desert Lizards. Now, never really bothered with internal spring shocks that much as main shocks. I've used them for supports on heavier builds on 1.6s and stuff, but never really used them myself on their own, in their own right, to sort of support the whole weight. So they're set up in a full droop setup at the moment. So what that means is that if you can see here, two-stage internal springs, so you can set them up for sprung or droop. These are set up in droop at the moment. They've got minimal travel, but they do have a little outward travel as well, so that's good. That's basically what we're looking for. So servo wise, we're just going for a little cheapy servo, which is it's just a Chinese branded one, VTech or whatever it's called. Chinese generic branded, 35kg claimed. You probably get about a good 20kg out of that. I don't really believe that these are true 35, but I'd say you get a good 20kg out of that. So for about £13 delivered to your door in a couple of days, can't really complain too much. So that'll do for the servo for now. It is waterproof as well, claimed, so splash proof probably, so that'll be quite good. Tyre wise, We have got these, which are about 104mm diameter, 103mm diameter, something like that. I haven't measured them with verniers, I've just put them up to a solid measure. But they do come with some one-piece bog standard foams. I do believe these are China copies. These are clearly knockoffs because they're not branded, but I may well get a little Michelin stencil for the outside there. Wheels are coming from I believe James is sending me some wheels because I bought some wheels off him. Just some RC4WD drive Steelies, some 1.9s, and these should sit on here quite nicely. So next, what we've got to do after that is we've obviously got to mount our servo. We've got to get a link for the front here. We're going to have to make a bushing, because if you notice we are missing a bushing here from our front. This isn't the original screw, this was just put in to sort of keep it loosely in place if you want to stop it bending too much out of the top. But there is no little flange nut in there, you know, little brass guides that they sort of have. There isn't obviously any in there, so I'm going to have to make my own for that using the Dremel. We're going to have to mount the motor. Now the forward plate, because they usually sit off on this side, don't they, and the motor comes forward, yeah, so it almost will be a reverse rotation, so that's great. But obviously I've only got one standoff left on here and no actual motor plate mount itself, so I'll have to make that up as well. As you can see, I've only got half of a servo man here as well, so I'm going to have to make some up there as well. So there's quite a bit of work to go on here. So yeah, just cracking on. The body's been ordered, a few other bits are on the way, so hopefully we should make some pretty quick progress soon enough. So yeah, stay tuned, keep watching, and watch as we go, and we'll keep modifying this up. First job now is to put the shocks on. Right guys, so here we can see the difference between the GDS shocks and these little scale Desert Lizards from Yeah Racing. Hot Racing, Yeah Racing, all same company I think, isn't it? So you'll notice there's, I don't know, we're missing a good 10mm there, so I guess these are probably about 110s, and these are about 70s, maybe 90s, I don't know. I think the 90s when they're not in droop anyway. So yeah, this should lower it out nicely. So just started to put some scale decals on the shocks there, and it is sitting quite nice. Drive shaft angle is a bit meh, but it is all buttoned up now. Links are all in place, shocks are all in place. We're waiting on wheels, and we're waiting on body and a few other bits, and I've got to make a motor mount next. So thanks very much for watching, and that's it for part 1. Stick around for part 2. Cheers guys.